It is the Musers, the podcast Cowboys edition. The football friends. George Dunham, Bob Sturm with you for another week. And we'll have some interesting conversations for sure. From what went wrong in Denver, what could go wrong against Arizona, what went right in that magical season of 1975, and maybe even some solutions from two football friends, Bob and George. And Bob, you said it last week. Okay, show me something on the road. And this team just, outside of the first half against Philadelphia offensively and the second half against Philly defensively, they basically roll over and play dead on the road, don't they?
Yeah, we'd like to thank the Jets for at least crossing that trend up slightly. But yeah, I mean, we're at the point of the year and it's starting to get a little cool outside, Georgie, and fire tables back in play and all the things we like. Unfortunately, along with Halloween and the World Series and all the things that happened specifically this week, we also have to sort of look reality in the face. We have to sort of come to terms with it's not early anymore. It's trade deadline time. It is we have enough film, we have enough data, we have enough home and road splits, we have enough good and bad opponent splits that the truth and the reality is setting in.
This defense
stinks.
We sucks.
We stink.
Rat crap, whatever you want to throw out there. It's so bad. So bad. And there are a few things on offense which, number one, even if you have a good offense, it's not like Madden. Yeah. And every week you're not going to score 40 points. That just doesn't happen. I'm still not that worried about the offense. I have some talking points about the offense that I think are interesting. But yeah, it's about a defense. You can't play in this league with one hand tied behind your back, and that's what the Cowboys are trying to do right now. Hank Stram used to say, throwing popcorn at a battleship. I mean, it's just it's awful what they're doing defensively. And just as we thought, okay, maybe it's rounding into shape, maybe it's getting a little bit better after the Washington game. That's a Washington team that has a lot of offensive issues right now. They got to get their quarterback back on the field. You saw what Terry McLaurin can mean when he played against Kansas City. Heck, at least they could throw it. He made some incredible receptions in that game against the Chiefs, but they still got whacked by 21 points. So that was a false flag. That was a mirage, whatever you want to call it. And they've still got problems and leaks on this defense that. But this is my problem with it. I still think there's enough on this defense that if you could just do just a few things each game, I think it could be passable.
Well, you're saying the defense or the offense? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying with this defense, everyone I say everyone. The opinion is they suck and they're not getting any better. There's no way. I still look at them and think they should not be this bad. Not.
Okay. Well, then I have plenty to say about the offense, but if you want to start with the defense, I want to do that too. I want to hear your thoughts on where do you think the Cowboys can kind of pin their hopes defensively, and maybe not even specific players, but let's just talk about what do they do well? What do they even do average in your opinion? The defense.
I know. I'm still thinking. Okay. I can't say anything conclusively that they do it well. They show flashes sometimes of being at least decent. This is going to sound crazy, but at least decent against the run. We've seen them, actually have run fits, actually take on guys at the line of scrimmage, and I guess. Philosophically, that's my biggest problem with them is I just don't see a collection of guys who are playing with their hair on fire. That's what you have to do in any league as a defensive player.
Yeah, and here's the beauty of our sport. We love this sport because it asks a lot of questions of your manhood. And with all due respect to the ladies out there listening, this is why we've had very little experience with anything in football that isn't built around manhood and gut check and all these things. You know why? Because playing defense in the NFL must be awful. It must be a horrible, horrible experience. And you might have to have some weird wires crossed to be really good at it, to be Bobby Wagner or Fred Warner or some of these legendary defenders of our generation, or if you want to go back to Singletary or Butkus or Nitschke or Leroy Jordan or any of these guys. You might just have to say, well, those dudes, they had a screw loose or something. I don't know what made them great, because that job is awful. And yeah, the paycheck's good, but you still have to survive these 3 hours where you're just getting in car wreck after car wreck after car wreck, and it's just not fun. It hurts, and it's difficult. And the worst part about it, Georgie, is when the going gets tough. And again, if I may summon up the calendar and just tell you, 8 weeks in, there's a fork in the road for football teams at any level, high school, college, pro, and your time of the year may vary slightly because of the length of the seasons. But the point is, as winter approaches, so does your belief that we are either doing something worthwhile or we are playing out the string of a horrible bad year. And we can't, if we were playing a video game, the kids would pull the cord out of the wall and cut the power, so we have to reset the game and go back to zero. Like this, we're at the pull the cord portion of the season, and as we know in the National Football League, there is no pulling of the cord. You must continue. Now, a coach might be lucky enough to get fired, so he doesn't have to finish the season. But everybody else, you've sold the tickets. You've booked the TV time. You have to play these games whether you like it or not. And so I guess where I'm going with that is the good teams are buoyed with hope and dreams and belief that this might be our year. And why not us? And go after it, and enthusiasm and energy and just all these great things. Well, the opposite is also true. And when you realize you stink, and when you realize you can't hide that you stink, and you realize that we're only an hour into this game and I've got to somehow survive this loud stadium where none of my teammates look like they're trying anymore, and I'm out here busting my tail because I don't want to put bad film out there because I want a job next season, and all this stuff, it just gets to your guts. And why do you play this sport? And why do you put yourself through this? And honestly, when I'm watching this film from the Denver game, I'm just looking for 11 guys that want to do this on defense. And so when I ask you, what are they good at? I'm seeing Sean Payton. This is where I'm at. And I don't even think we had time to talk about this on the radio enough this week, but that's what's the beauty of this podcast is. I just saw Sean Payton taking great joy in knowing he is rubbing Jerry's face in it again. And it's the Sean Payton, Jerry Jones, quote unquote, friendship is kind of funny to me, because I don't think it's a two-way street. And I always think Sean has used the Cowboys and his home in Dallas and all this stuff as a leverage point for negotiations with the Saints and with the Broncos. And the Cowboys were always but I might go to Dallas if you don't fix this contract. And I don't think he was ever serious about it, because I don't think he believes in the way the Cowboys see football. But whatever the case may be, we've seen this enough times where a Saints team showed no mercy on the Cowboys. The 2013 game at the Superdome, I'll never get it out of my head, because as I recall, they got the ball 9 times and scored 8 touchdowns or something like that. And it felt like there's no such thing as mercy. Yeah. And that's what I saw Sunday. Did you hear his quote where he said, I challenged our defense because the Cowboys were bringing an offense in here that was better than anybody we've played in the stadium. So it was a big challenge for our defense. The other side of the ball, that wasn't even close. And, he didn't even have time to address the Cowboys defense, because he knew his only problem on Sunday with the Cowboys defense was picking which play I'm going to fillet these clowns.
Yes.
And that's really what it was. And so I just don't see an identity. I don't see I just don't see anything you can build on. So I hear you. There are snaps where you're like, okay, maybe this isn't the world's worst defense, but there aren't enough to say, an opponent is at all perplexed with what they should dial up, because it all works, and it all worked on Sunday. And it's just embarrassing to look that you can't find 11 dudes who are willing to bust their tail already. And we've got 2 months to go.
I know it could get worse. The schedule's going to get tougher.
That's the thing, George.
I know
they haven't played the good defenses, and that I realize that isn't about the Cowboys defense, but the point is, when you play a really, really good defense like Denver, or like Kansas City, which is coming up, or like the Chargers, which is coming up, or like the Lions, which is coming up, or like Minnesota, which is coming up. You've only really played Carolina and Green Bay and Denver for tough defenses so far on your schedule, and they did a great job against the Green Bay at their place, but for the most part, it's been really rough sledding. So when the offense plays a good defense, that's when we truly, truly see how bad the Cowboys' defense is, because it turns into a uphill football game on both sides of the ball really quick.
We're going to have a solutions little segment here in a few minutes, and this dovetails into that. But I would fire some people on defense. I've said before I wouldn't fire the defensive coordinator. I think it's too far gone for that. At the end of the year, I guess you can address it again and get your fourth coordinator in here in 4 years, I guess, whatever. But I don't think firing Matt Eberflus, and if you think he got enough time at the bye week, I still don't think that. But I would fire some players. And And you've been hitting this drum for a while. I was on Trayvon Diggs for a while. I would not put him on the field until he is ready to play. I don't think he was ever ready to play. And then whatever happened off the field even made that worse. But starting this week, I would get Kenneth Murray off the field.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. It all starts in the middle of the field. And
he's the middle linebacker, and he gets caught up in traffic. He misreads. He overruns. He either has poor eye discipline or has poor football instincts, or for a guy who's been in the league and been in a lot of car crashes. And look, I don't fault these. It's human nature. After a while, man, you're not like Maris Leofau. He's ready to knock somebody's head off. He may miss, and he may miss his assignment, but it's interesting because if I have followed this right, they've moved him now to middle. Leofau. He wasn't there earlier in the year, wasn't he? He was on the weak side, I do believe.
I think you're right, but I also think I think the Cowboys have done a very poor job of identifying what's what post, like especially when Sanborn went out. I've seen enough plays where it looks like James is playing the middle and Kenneth is not, but then the opponent quickly shifts their lineup to basically put Murray back in the middle. Like they know what they're doing.
Yes.
And they know what will control the Cowboys linebacker alignment, and so they're doing it. And before people see, because I get this a lot online because I can't help myself, Georgie, is I do have to, and I see you do it as well, but I have to post frames that are particularly upsetting of Cowboys defense. And I do keep coming back to 59, and I don't like doing that because I do know that sometimes on Twitter then people like tag him so that I don't
like that either.
I think it's and this may sound hypocritical and some P1s may disagree with me, and that's fine, but I think it's good, informative, educational material rather than saying somebody's really, really bad, is to actually show it so that we all get a little smarter about the game of football. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think just saying stuff fixes anything, and maybe not fix, but informs people. But I do think putting tape up there is good. What I don't think is good is then trying to mess with like the mental health of players by tagging them and pulling them into it. And I think that's bad. So in the social media I would try to design, George, would be a way to like keep the actual person from being bombarded by total strangers all the time. So I don't really know how this works. So I'm going to attempt to play Little Red Riding Hood and say, I think it's a good idea to post plays where you are identifying not just the Cowboys stink, but here's why I think they're playing poorly. So I do that. And then people are quick to say, why are you identifying just him when all of the linebackers stink? And so I've put together a list of reasons, if you don't mind.
Sure.
One, they traded for him this spring. Like they identified him and handpicked him to run their defense. So that's reason number one. They traded with Tennessee to go get him. Not a lot, but they identified him and were willing to get to point number two, which is he makes $7.75 million this year. And just as a reference point, Micah Parsons makes 9.9. So they make nearly a similar amount of money, but we were told Micah makes too much money. We have to get him out of here. And I realize I'm being a bit fast and loose with the accounting past this year, but I did not say you have to sign Micah to a 4-year deal. I said you should not trade him this season. But they kept Kenneth Murray at roughly the same deal. I think 80% of the same deal. The other linebackers in the conversation, Sanborn, Shamar James, and Leofau, combine make 3.7. So Murray's on 7.7. All the other linebackers make less than $4 million combined. Okay. Then point number three is they play him more snaps than any player on their defense. He plays every snap. Right. Every snap.
That's I don't get it. And I know he's the guy with the green dot, and so he's our leader on defense, but
other teams have green dots and they don't play every snap. And then I would say reason number four is he's the veteran to help teach the puppies how to play linebacker in this league. And that's horrible. And if I may, I know PFF isn't the gospel, but the last 4 seasons Kenneth Murray has played, linebackers who have played 50% of the snaps for a season, here you go. Overall rank, there are 52 linebackers who qualified in 2022. Kenneth Murray was 50th with the Chargers, 50 out of 52. Against the run, he was 52nd out of 52. Okay? Wow. Now 2023, he was 58 out of 60 overall, 58 out of 60 against the run. Then he went to Tennessee. In 2024, he was 52nd out of 53 linebackers in the NFL overall. 53rd out of 53 against the run. And then this year, he is 56th out of 56 for the Dallas Cowboys overall. This is PFF overall linebacker grade, the entire league, guys who play 50% of the snaps. He is dead last again, and against the run, he is dead last again. I challenge anyone to dream up a scenario where a player could be dead last in the entire NFL against the run 3 out of 4 years, and yet nobody does anything about it, and you have the Cowboys actually playing him more than any other defender. That's why we identify Kenneth Murray as a significant deal right now. Even if he is a wonderful guy who's a great neighbor, they've got to stop playing him. They've got to. One more quick thing on the defense, because I mean, what are we going to say that we haven't said the last 7 weeks? Can I say one more thing about Kenneth Murray? Sure. Just as a solution, George, not to belabor the point, but linebacker run fits, I mean, you know this. They're not like if you trade for a quarterback right now, not that you would, but if you were to trade for a quarterback, what would we say? It's going to take him a month probably to learn the offense, right? Yeah. To get the playbook down, to do all the nuances that are required. I mean, this is a very, very important issue. We don't have time to teach a quarterback the entire offense. I'm telling you, run stopping for a linebacker does not change from scheme to scheme. It does not change from coach to coach. I would argue that you could sign a linebacker today and play him on Sunday, and the fundamentals and the stuff on his hard drive on how to stop the run would probably be 90% consistent with everything the Cowboys would ask him to do. There's no complicated nuance. There's nothing that he would have to learn that, oh, this is how the Cowboys do run fits. Stopping the run is fairly universal. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah, and
why would you not just hit the streets and find a run-stopping linebacker if you need one this bad?
And there's a few out there. This may sound, don't hit me on this one, because he may have even retired. Eric Hendricks still out there?
That's a great question. I don't know if he was a Mike Zimmer attached at the hip thing. I don't know. I don't even know.
And I know he wasn't
is.
great last year, but I guarantee he could at least do that on first and second down. Then if you want to get him out of there on third down or whatever, then I don't know. There's got to be somebody out there. Well, we're not doing solutions just yet.
No.
But, yeah, mark that. We'll come back to it. One other thing on defense, and one play that has been from the first time you saw it until today, 3 days later, the Harvey touchdown run of 40 some odd yards. I've now looked at that probably 50 times, and I just can't believe the comedy of misplay defensively there is there from 59, Kenneth Murray, who just gets walloped
and doesn't
read it well at all.
I described it, that play and that player, as kind of taking on the block like you would expect a kicker to take on a block.
Yeah,
which is pretty much
hilarious.
Take whatever you want. I surrender. It was just please don't hurt me on this play was the disposition of my linebacker, my veteran linebacker who's teaching the kids how to do things. That's what I saw on that play.
There's no edge set. I don't know what Sam Williams is doing on that play. He's out of position a lot.
Cracked by a tiny wide receiver again.
Ridiculous. Kyrie Elam, I've kind of been in his corner thinking, okay, this guy can really help the Cowboys. Man, he is awful against the run. And he was awful on that play. But again, you only have so many choices in the secondary right now. It's just been shot to pieces. So I don't know what to do there.
Did you watch Quinn Miners though? Did you watch their right guard go get 2.5 Cowboys? Yeah.
It's just no. I'm sure Denver watched that play and laughed and high-fived each other. And
he throws Shamar James. He drops the people's elbow on Elijah Clark, and I think that's probably where Elijah got his ribs hurt. And it's just it was got to be laugh out loud funny for the Broncos film room.
Yeah. So that was just awful. And one other thing about Sean Payton and how much he enjoyed this, I know he did. I may have told you this story before, but I don't think I've aired it on the Cowboys podcast. And that is, when he was in suspension from the NFL for Bounty Gate, he coached his son's junior high team just up the road from where I live.
Was it Liberty Christian?
Liberty Christian. I think that.
So Jason Witten's place, right?
Yes, that's where Jason Witten is now the head coach. And I don't think this was high school. I do believe it was junior high. I want to say it was 6th grade, maybe 7th grade.
I think you're right.
And he was basically the offensive coordinator. Anyway, during that time, my son was playing at North Texas, and he came up and he talked to the team. And he talked to him about what he liked to do. And he said, no matter what the game is, you come up with the game plan, you go out, you give your best, all the coach speak stuff. And he said, and I don't care who you're playing. And I'll give an example. I just coached a game yesterday of 6th graders, and we gutted them. He got great glee out of gutting some poor little 6th grade team that probably didn't even have a defensive playbook, and he just went out and hung 60 on them and just got great glee from that. So, yes, if you get that much joy out of doing that at the 6th grade level, I can only imagine what glee Sean Payton got out of Sunday.
Yes, I think you're exactly right, and I think that smug little look on his face tells all that that's very much what he was looking to do, is rub the Cowboys' face in it and not show mercy. And to be fair, unlike sixth graders, this is the NFL. You're not required to show mercy, and I don't think it makes you classless to keep running your offense into the fourth quarter. They are not obligated to save your reputation. If you are running a clown show, they have every right to expose it to their fans.
Yes, and they certainly did that Sunday. Okay, we hadn't said a darn thing about the offense. We're going to do that next, and we're also going to relive a glorious year of 1975, something Bob has been keeping up with since January. And we'll do that next on the Musers, the podcast Cowboys edition. It's the Musers, the podcast Cowboys edition. Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football at AT&T Stadium, where the Cowboys average 41 points a game. So we ought to at least see some offense this week. We'll talk about this offense here in just a second. But instead of the drudgery that a game like Sunday was for the Cowboys in another road loss in Denver, Bob's been doing something really interesting, and that is following the 1975 team, Dallas Cowboys team. What a team that was. They became the first team to qualify for the Super Bowl as a wild card team. That was Hail Mary year in Minnesota. But how did they get there? And that's what Bob's doing from week to week. And you posted something on X this week that was pretty darn awesome.
Yeah, so the account is 75 Cowboys Rewind, and it's definitely one of those questions of why are you doing this, and because it's there, and it's the same reason we climb mountains, George, and I just didn't know much about the 70s Cowboys other than what NFL Films taught me, and so because I'm a little bit of a psycho and have an ADD problem, I subscribe to newspapers.com, and I don't know what it is, $15 a month or something like that, to basically have access to every newspaper going back to like the U.S. Civil War. And you can honestly research anything. So I thought it's the 50-year anniversary of the Hail Mary game and just that unbelievable season, the Dirty Dozen season. So I just said, let's read the two papers, the Morning News and the Star-Telegram, every day of the year and go through that entire Cowboys season as like a daily diary. And so Bob St. John is the key writer for the Morning News, and I think Roger Kay is the key writer for the Star-Telegram, and they're both on the Cowboys beat, and it's just absolutely fascinating. And so the Cowboys they've just completed week 6 and are going into week 7. So they started 4-0, and then they lost at home to the Stinko Packers to go 4-1. And they might have been looking ahead, because looking ahead in week 6 and 7 were back-to-back divisional road games. They had to go to Philadelphia last week, and they'll go to Washington this coming week. And so this is really the meat of the schedule. And last week they went to Philadelphia, and apparently Roman Gabriel had some very pointed things to say in the Philadelphia papers about the Cowboys being no class, and whatever he said, really, it was in the papers on Saturday, and the Cowboys arrive in Philadelphia and read the Philadelphia papers, and now they're hopping mad that Roman Gabriel said those mean things about the Cowboys going into the game. And so it's a real bloodbath, and Philadelphia, you know, they're already in crisis, and their coach is on the hot seat, but here come the Cowboys. And, you know, even that's interesting to me, Georgie, because I guess I thought the real animosity probably started with Buddy Ryan, but it goes way beyond that. Philadelphia's hated the Cowboys, you know, since before I was born, evidently, and that's kind of fun. Because they get
beaten like a rented mule by the Cowboys every year until Dick Vermeil got there.
Yes, and so So the Eagles are taking cheap shots. I sent you a video, and there's one of the greatest spearing incidents that you've ever seen as Robert Newhouse gets speared, right? Did you see that?
So late. Yes, ridiculous.
and that turned into a big penalty, and the Cowboys, their offense could not do a lot, and they needed to rally late, and so they got the game tied up thanks to that spearing penalty. And they kicked it back to the Eagles, I think, at 17-17. So this game's at the Vet, and it's Roger, and it's the whole gang. And the Cowboys get a quick stop, and so the Eagles have to send it back to the Cowboys, and they've got no timeouts, and they have an unbelievably great rally that includes a Roger pass to Drew Pearson that, with no timeouts, Pearson has to basically weave around a couple Eagles to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
It looked like it was in slow motion.
It
I don't
really
know why
did.
they didn't get him tackled, but
I
yeah.
know. And if they tackle him, we go to overtime, but they don't. Drew Pearson gets out of bounds, and I'm looking for a better angle or like a TV angle of that play, and I can't find one anywhere. But it feels like one of the more significant Roger to Drew plays of their careers. So surely it's out there somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. And anyway, Tony Fritsch comes on to the Austrian to try to kick the game-winning field goal from 42 yards, and it's hilarious on a number of levels. Partly because it looks like he has a little kid's Cowboys uniform and helmet on.
He's got the single bar, doesn't he? And is that thing going to make it 42 yards? I don't know. We were trying to guess. I guess we could look it up in Pro Football Reference real quick. My guess is percentage of made 42-yard field goals in 1975. Somewhere between 35 and 40%, don't you imagine? Something like that?
The amazing uptick in the ability for kickers to just make kicks is really hilarious over the years, and I think Tony Fritsch would qualify. So let's take a look at his make percentage. Well, looks like it's going to be difficult to fully get that split. From
I don't know
what
if
I
75
have here.
we were going 30 plus, 40 plus.
Oh, here we go. We
Okay.
go. In 1975, Tony Fritsch overall was 22 for 35 for 63%. He was 2 for 2 inside 19 yards, which is impossible now, right?
Right, yeah.
The shortest field goal possible now would be, I guess, right at 20, right at 19.
Yeah.
From 20 to 29, he was 13 of 14. From 30 to 39, oh my gosh. From 30 to 39, he was 4 for 9. And then from 40 to 49, George, he was 3 for 9.
Yeah.
And over 50, he was 0 for 1. So let's put that together. Tony Fritsch in 1975 tried 19 field goals, 30 yards or longer, and made 7. 9 of 17. And he kept his job.
Hey, you miss some, you make some. That's the way that we looked at it back then. It's okay.
9 of 17 is so bad.
That's so bad. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, no, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. Not 9 of 17. 7 of 19. I juxtaposed it. It's
19.
even worse.
Okay.
So he was 37% from over 30 yards.
Oh,
37.
my gosh.
George, I'm serious. You and I can do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm terrible at kicking. I can punt a little bit. I'm a terrible kicker. But, man, that's amazing.
I'll amend it to in your day.
In my day, maybe. All right, 75 Cowboys Rewind on X or Twitter, whatever you like to call it. Check out. It's awesome what Bob's doing.
They're 5-1 headed to Washington. And
George
Allen thinks he has some solutions for the shotgun I read this morning.
He hated the Cowboys so much. Oh, man. That's really where that rivalry cranked up. Sam, yeah, because the year before, I guess it was 2 years before that, in the playoffs, that was Sam Weish, who was playing for Washington at that time, yelling at the Cowboys, "Die, you dogs, die," on NFL films. Yeah, that's really where it cranked up, because George Allen was very jealous of Tom Landry. He didn't measure up in a lot of ways, and he was very jealous of that. Okay, to the 2025 Cowboys, and we've talked about the defense and how ridiculous they are, and almost to the point of giving up any hope of them getting any better. To the offense that had a tough day until Joe Milton came on the field and let him down to a touchdown.
What do we have here?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Dak had a tough day. He was under pressure. It was his lowest grade from Pro Football Focus at 51.6 was his overall offensive grade.
Yeah.
And he's been somewhere between 70 and 90 every week. So it was a tough day. In Dak's defense, he was under pressure. Denver's really good defensively. And if you look at a lot of those plays where he had to look how many times he had to take off and run because there was nothing. I mean, nothing downfield, or at least he didn't see it. But a lot of the times I was seeing what he was seeing. Nothing. Let's get something out of this before someone absolutely takes my helmet off back here. But what I did notice on a couple of plays, the one where the Cowboys went 3 and out after a Dak 9-yard run, second down, Javonte Williams gets ambushed and 0. So now you got 3rd and 1. And this play has been pretty money for the Cowboys. Hey, let's go 3 wide. Let's just throw it out in the flat here to Turpin, 5-yard out. And Cooper, their outside linebacker, absolutely jumps it like he knows what's coming. And that's my question to you. And this happens to a lot of teams in the course of a season. Now that you've had 7 weeks out there going into that game, and, you know, the first 3 or 4 opponents probably were, including Green Bay, were probably somewhat looked at the Cowboys' offense as mysterious as to what are they going to run.
Right.
Now you've got some tendencies. Now you've got some, this is what they like to do out of this personnel, out of this formation. Don't fall for this motion. And I don't know. I would guess I saw 5 or 6 plays where it's almost as if Denver knew what was coming. And that's what good defenses do. That's how you become a good defense. It's not just your ability, but it's your prep and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I think the Cowboys ran into some of that on Sunday. Agree?
Yeah, I do. I think that's spot on, and I do think Denver is one of the better defenses you'll play all year, partly because they dictate terms, and it might not be the same if the game is played at your place, although last time Denver played here, they showed very well with a completely different defense with Vic Fangio. But this time, Vance Joseph was having the time of his life, George, as he was
having the time of his life.
He was dictating terms, right? They're like, look, we're not going to sit back and let you get comfortable. So that's the way to play anybody, and this is why Denver's so good at their place, is that their pressure rate is so high, and that is with blitz or without blitz, they are getting in your quarterback's lap, and you know, a young quarterback will completely freak out. An older quarterback will just be made uncomfortable to a point where he's forcing the ball, which we saw on Sunday. He's feeling the timer expire maybe sometimes before it even does. Mm-hmm. And so that's the beauty of great pressure teams, is sometimes they're not even getting pressure on you. You just are thinking it's back again.
Yeah.
Like they put honestly the fear in you to where, you know, you do start seeing ghosts. So Dak is playing under enormous pressure, and he had a bad game. And you know, the most disingenuous thing a fan can say, and they're out there, is that hey, Bo Nix outplayed him. Bo Nix did outplay him by definition, but they're not playing the same game. They're not facing the same challenges. They're not dealing with the same, you know, situations, because Bo Nix was not pressured the whole day, and you know, his running game was doing whatever he wanted, and he's standing back there with a ham sandwich just waiting for guys to get open, and there's a lot of guys open. The Cowboys were ready to deal with the Cowboys offense, partly because they knew that Dallas would have to be aggressive and score 7 each time. So, you know, honestly, and I don't know where you are on this, but I came away from this game a little bit upset with Schotty for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I thought that he did not read the room. And let me try to explain briefly.
Are you getting the fourth down?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, as a head coach, I admire the fact that he's got Eberflus's back and that he even said after the game, look, I like our talent here. I think we do have enough talent on defense to be successful. So he's saying all the right things as a head coach. Fine.
Yeah.
But now you're the OC. Now you're running this whole organization, and you've got to decide in-game decisions on how do I best win this game. And I'm sorry, but no matter how much you regard Matt Eberflus as a human, and no matter how loyal you want to be to him, you can't just kick field goals and punt the ball away in a game like this. You have to know when I go in there, my offense is going to have to win this game, and the only way I can win this game is by being crazy offensively. And here are two great examples how I want to be crazy offensively. Number one, when I get that false start on the goal line in the first drive after a turnover, and I'm now 3rd and 6 from the 6 or 3rd and goal from the 6.
Yeah.
I got to go for it on 4th down.
Really?
I'm trying to fit the ball in the CD on 3rd and goal. Okay, well I'm going for it on 4th down. I don't care about 3 points. 3 points will not help me today. I'm going to need 40 to win. Definitely 35. I can't get a field goal with this 1975 view of let's just get points on the board. So I thought that was bad. Now, late third quarter, you're down 30-17. So you're down 13. You're down 2 scores, but you got the ball. You're driving along. You're outside your own 40, and it's 4th and 5, I think from your own 44. Yes, traditionally that's where you punt the ball. No, on Sunday, no. I cannot punt right there. I cannot punt. It's 4th and 5. I've got to say to my MVP possibility quarterback and my high-paid wide receivers and my high-powered offense, guys, we got to go get a touchdown this drive, because if we give the ball back to Denver, they're going to score again, and we're not going to be down 13. Now we're going to be down 20. So this is our moment.
Yeah.
If we need to take a timeout and talk about it, let's do it. But we're at our own 44, not our own 4. We're at our own 44. They're going to score either way if we give them the ball back. We've got to go for it here. So I've got to go for it inside their 10 because I'm not going to get down here very often. And I've got to not punt the ball back to them in the third quarter when I realize that they've already scored 4 touchdowns against me and they're about to score 6. So I cannot give them the ball back. And so I think Brian Schottenheimer treated those 2 decisions specifically, George, like he thought he had a decent defense. And we're too far into this season for him to think that. Don't you agree?
Agreed. Yes. And I'll throw another number at you. Have you seen this one? That so you have 4th and 5, and you've got both CD and George Pickens available. All 17 of Pickens' receptions on 3rd and 4th down have been converted for a first down this year.
Wow. Dang.
And he made one earlier in the game on 4th and 2. Yeah, I'm with you. Totally with you. And, 2 second down plays really helped sink the Cowboys offensively. The 2nd and 1 at the goal line, that one went incomplete. And now you have, did it go to 2nd and 6?
I'm trying to remember now.
No. They ran the second down play. Then they got moved back, and then it was 3rd and goal from the 6. So
okay, yeah.
But that second down incompletion after, easy to second guess, but Javonte Williams just carried it 3 yards down to the 1 yard line.
Right.
So hey, let's just wham it in there.
Okay, and let me go back to that 4th down, 4th and goal from the 6. Do you know where Patrick Surtain is at that moment?
He is out of the game.
He's in the blue tent.
Yeah.
Okay, so he got hurt on 2nd and goal. I get moved back. 3rd and goal, I try to throw a slant to CD, which, by the way, is lucky it didn't go for 101 in the other direction because they were sitting on it.
And then another bad one from Dak, too. Pickens is now guarded by the guy who's in for Surtain one-on-one on the other side.
I've got to throw two fades or two, two-way goes to George Pickens there on the goal line, because if it's not Patrick Surtain, they're not stopping him from that spot. So by the way, if you go back and look at that third down, that near interception, I think it's a great scheme idea by Denver. So give them credit, because the guy who is lined up across from Jake Ferguson is making it look like they're playing man. But he is the robber. He is ready to rob on CD, and the guy actually covering Ferguson is the single high safety. So they basically cross Dak up and cross the Cowboys offense up. Again, it's a good defense. They work too. And so you can't sit on CD, but that's the beauty of having two great receivers, and that's definitely the beauty of the 2024 Defensive Player of the Year being in the blue freaking tent. So guys, you got to have awareness here. And again, if you need to call timeout, or if you need, Bob or George in your ear, Schotty, in those situations to say, we got to go for it here, Coach. Surtain's in the blue tent. We're not going to get down inside their 10 very often.
Yeah.
Maybe at that point you're thinking, we'll be down here all day. But by the end of the afternoon, you realize if we go up 7-0, we at least put Denver a little bit on its heels, and after an interception that was that bad by Bo Nix, I think to myself, man, this is found money. I've got to make sure it's 7.
Let's cash it in. Yeah, I'm with you. It wasn't a great day for Schotty. I still am a big Schotty fan, and
sure.
I bet their self-scouting people, their analytics people, their guys who keep up with their own trends got dog cussed this week. That's just my guess.
And I also think this is now we're going and past. We're with Schotty now into the weeds of now, dude. We can't just get by on vibes. You're going to have to choose at certain points. Do I step on somebody's feelings here to do the right thing? And my only question about Brian Schottenheimer is he willing at times to be the bad cop? And I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah.
I think he's a great vibes guy. I think he's a great culture guy. But part of that at some point, and this is why some coaches will roll their eyes at culture, because they'll be like, look, I have to hold guys accountable. And if that's going to ruin the culture, that sometimes dad's going to get mad at us, then so be it. But we got jobs on the line. We got to win football games. And I can't be worried about making Eberflus feel bad, that I feel like I have to go for it on every fourth down because his defense right now is killing us. Like, I know I want to treat him with the respect he's earned in this league. However, I've got to give my team the best chance to win. And I think in Denver, the best chance to win is to expect the defense to fail all day, and my offense has to keep up somehow. And I realize it's unlikely to work, but it is the best chance to win.
Yeah, I'm with you. Amen to all of that. All right, let's talk about the next opponent and some solutions. Since all we do is just sit around and complain about things, let's give some solutions to some of the problems the Cowboys are having, and we'll do that next. It's the Musers, the podcast, the Cowboys edition, football friends. It's George and Bob. We are your football friends during Cowboy season and beyond, talking Cowboys football and the National Football League. And up next for the Cowboys, Monday night against the Cardinals, we'll talk about how I think the Cardinals are better than everyone around here thinks they are. Crazy you hear, well, they got the Cardinals this week. That shouldn't be a problem. Man, every week's a problem in the NFL. It really is, and especially as we've been telling you about the Cowboys defense. So what I would offer from some solutions, we mentioned it earlier, someone's got to do it, and maybe this is Schotty that has to tell Eberflus, hey, get 59 off the field, and we'll spot play him, but he is not starting. Maris Leofau is now the middle linebacker on this team, and I think they've been prepping him for this. That's my guess. And Shamar James is my other linebacker. They will start a rookie and a second-year guy, and they're going to make some mistakes, but at least they're going to make them at full speed. I would get more snaps for Jadeveon Clowney, maybe even start him at one end, and Fowler, I guess, at the other. I get a lot of snaps for Izaraku, who does seem to be coming on just a little bit now.
I agree.
But, maybe between he and Houston, you can start getting some, obvious passing down push from both of those guys. And, I blitz more because James and Leofau will actually bring something when you do blitz. And I'm going to take some chances. And as far as the defensive backfield, man, it's in tatters right now. And they're not going to get any better until they get guys like Donovan Wilson back in the lineup. What are we, another 4 weeks away from getting Malik Hooker back? I mean, I don't know, but I don't know what to do about that. I don't have a reasonable solution in the secondary right now.
Yeah, it's bleak, man. It's really bleak because they're starting to lose a lot of guys, and that's not helping because, you got to have players. At a certain point, you got to actually.
And you're about to get supplied by DeMarvion Overshone. I guess will be back for the Raiders game.
Yes. The issue with Overshone is that I'm not sure he helps a ton in the areas they're weakest, which is between the tackle runs. I love Overshone, and he's really, really good, so I want people to hear this right. But he weighs 220 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think, when I look at what the issues are for this defense, I just think they have to be able to fit runs in a sense that a team cannot just get so physical. And yes, that starts with your defensive tackles. And I've been disappointed with both Kenny Clark and Osa Odigizua these last couple of weeks. And by the way, those are two of my better players. And so for me to be disappointed with some of my better players might just tell you how bleak things are.
Yeah.
I think Solomon Thomas has been really good this year. I do want to start identifying those who we think have been quite good and trying to hold this thing up. And you're right with Izaraku. If you just go on the last month, so yes, Bob is going to use really tiny samples to try to prop guys up. In the last 4 games, Donovan Izaraku is up there with the league leaders in quarterback pressures. Okay. So he's getting there. Solomon Thomas has been good. Jadeveon Clowney kind of looks washed, but I'm willing to say I can't find horrible tape. So that's what we're looking for now is
average. A guy.
Just please be a guy who is not killing us. And I think Clowney is at least that. As far as a lot of the rest of the guys, I'd love it if Jack Sanborn could play again. I'm not saying he's great. I am saying I think he's at least a decent run stopper. I don't fully know why Kalen Carson wasn't on the field this week. It's weird. They are seemingly saying Bridges and Elam are my outside corners, and we're going with them. Safety is such a mess because, as we've detailed, they're down 1, 2, and 3 already at safety, and so we're kind of dealing with 4 and 5. And I think 4, Elijah Clark just broke his ribs. So are we down to 5? The fifth best safety, Marquise Bell, and a corner playing safety, or CJ Goodwin? I don't know what's going on.
That was a guy, by the way. When you say, okay, this should be better, I thought Marquise Bell was a dude. At least a decent player, and he has not played well.
Again, he weighs 200 pounds, and I just feel like the Dan Quinn defense was all based on blazing speed and no size. Yeah. And you kind of got rid of the blazing speed portion of your defense. And so now you just got a bunch of tiny dudes. And When you say we're going to provide solutions, George, I love the tease. That's great radio, but I don't have a solution here, man. I don't.
No, in the
I
secondary,
can tell you
I don't until you start getting guys back. Ravel about ready to go here in the next couple of weeks?
I'd love to see Ravel. I'd also love to see him take one NFL snap before we expect anything from him.
We're desperate. We all hands on deck right now.
And we've made Overshone into Lawrence Taylor, and this is his third season, and he's played like a dozen NFL games, and it's just
I think he's going to be on a pitch count when he comes back. I don't think
he should be.
Yeah, you're not going to put him in there for majority of the snaps.
So if I'm Arizona, and here's what's funny about Arizona, they just they don't have any running backs. Like their situation at running back right now. My son was telling me he just picked up a Cardinals running back in fantasy, and I said, really? I can't name one right now that's not hurt for them. And he said, what do you know about Bam Knight? And I said, Bam
love the
Knight.
name.
I love the name, but Is that a real player? And apparently it's apparently Bam Knight has, I guess, been on the outskirts of the league with the Jets and the Lions. But
okay.
I'm not real familiar with Bam Knight. But here's the reason why we're all going to be familiar with him on Sunday or on Monday night is because I think besides Amari DiMarcado, who's still sort of hurt and sort of in hot water for
dropping the ball at the one,
for dropping the ball at the one a couple of weeks ago. I think Bam Knight might be the only rostered running back they have, and surely they're going to look at the Cowboys mess and say, we've got to run the ball against these guys to make sure they can stop us. But James Conner's on the IR, Trey Benson's on the IR, and they just cut Michael Carter. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you what they're going to be running the ball with on Sunday or Monday.
Well, Kyler Murray is supposed to be back. I would imagine I would do student body right and left with Kyler Murray.
Well, okay, and you can do that, but he's been out because he's been hurt, so I don't know if building a run game around
hey, Bob,
a hurt
no one's going to hit him, so he's going to be fine.
And he was out with a foot, right?
Yeah. I know that's crazy, and
this is all crazy.
That's interesting. But even as banged up as they have been, and they're 2-5.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening across the country and around the world to the Musers, the podcast Cowboys edition, and I don't know what they're thinking out away from Dallas Fort Worth, but the talk I hear around town is, okay, well this week it's the Cardinals. They're 2-5.
Yeah.
Well, to me, the Cardinals represent what is either good and bad or just a prime example of what the NFL is.
Yes. You
could easily say they are 5 plays away from being 6-1.
Yeah.
I mean, they have lost some crazy games. They have not lost a game by more than 5 points. And like you said earlier, this is the point of the season where the Cardinals are fighting like hell just to try to make something of their season. And you're going to get a great effort from them on Monday night. They're not bad. And they're just a few plays away from being a team that we look at records way too much in this league. It's just like, well, they're playing. They beat them. Man, you say it all the time. You play this trumpet a lot, and you're right. Don't apologize for wins, and don't look at a potential matchup as, this will be a cakewalk. Not in this
100%.
league. No,
not in this league at all. And their defense is serious. And so, that's again, the matchup is, can the Cowboys offense outscore, a team, because their defense, the defense is going to have to deal with Trey McBride. That's honestly what the Arizona offense is all about, is they've got arguably a top 3 tight end in this league right now, and they build everything around him and Marvin Harrison and a decent offensive line, and of course Kyler, and that's what I saw, and they beat the Packers a couple weeks ago if they can block Micah Parsons, and Micah single-handedly won that game for Green Bay, and I do mean single-handedly. He was unbelievable. He had 4 sacks that day. One got called back because it was a hip drop. on Jacoby Brissett. But the point is, the Cowboys, as we have detailed just about every week on this podcast, no longer have Micah Parsons. And so
they traded him. That's right.
They actually traded him. And so this is going to be a real fight to get this win. And Arizona's looking at Dallas and rubbing their hands together. So just know it's a two-way street. You're excited because you get to play Stinko Arizona, and Arizona's excited because they get to play Stinko Dallas. So that's how this league works.
They have owned the Cowboys. They've won 3 straight. They've won 7 of 8 in the series. And
yeah.
Just kind of like the Denver game, I'm thinking, well, my perception of this matchup is, and especially Kyler Murray, who never loses at AT&T Stadium, this is going to be a rock fight on Monday night.
And they don't have to heal from getting their brains beaten in Denver. They were on a bye, and they were enjoying watching you on TV while sipping lemonade, and so they're going to be fresh and probably. I don't know if Jonathan Gannon's in trouble yet or not, George, but Arizona does feel like they're stuck in a bit of a endless circle of pain. But that's a defense with players. They got Josh Sweat, they got Budda Baker, who I love. They've got big Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell, and Calais is like 100 years old, but he still makes plays every single week. Man, he's literally 39, and he plays.
I didn't realize he was that old.
That's just one of my favorite players in the NFL in this past generation. So, Arizona's not to be taken lightly, unfortunately. So once again, you'll say to Dak and George and CD to, carry us home, boys, because you're our one and only hope.
No doubt. And Monday night, we get to see Joe and Troy, and then we'll come back and talk about it next week.
Yeah, man.
That was fun, Bob. Keep the faith. See, am I the only one that thinks 9 wins is still possible? Are you going to laugh at me now?
Well, I want to believe, and if you think 9 is still possible, that's incredible, because now you're talking like a 9-6-1 record, right? That's the only way to get there.
Is that right, or 9-7-1?
Yeah, okay.
Because now we play 17 games.
Yeah,
Bob.
good math. Okay, so 9. You're
I'm
doing
just thinking
great.
Some of these teams are going to back up, and
okay, so you only see 3 more losses based on that math.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the only way they would get there. I think it's, as I said this morning on America's favorite radio station, The Ticket in Dallas, I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's a probability. How about that?
Well, that sounds
for being
like
very vague.
It's hedging, and it's fine, but again, they're not good enough that we can say they've won consecutive games. However, they're not bad enough that we can say they've lost consecutive games.
Which I think Jerry loves. He loves the, as he calls it, ambiguity. That's what the NFL is. It's ambiguity.
Yeah, it is.
And, they could be ambiguously good or ambiguously bad. I guess we'll find out more.
Yeah, after back-to-back Monday nights, just see if you like the stretch. Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders on Christmas Day. So they have 6 games between basically Thanksgiving and Christmas against 6 really, really tough customers.
No doubt. Now, doesn't that look better now than it did back in September?
The Chiefs now look worse again because they're good.
That looks
again.
Terrible. But the Commanders, Vikings, that's not as bad. And I would say the Eagles aren't as frightening as we thought they were going into week 1.
Man, you're the best. I'm coming back. I'm going to keep doing this with you because you're just optimistic.
I'm the guy
enough
you ate rally cookies with at Texas Stadium, and just come on, maybe cookies can bring us through in the second half.
See, you always cheer me up. You always pump their tires just enough to keep me in for another week. I'm back
boy,
in.
Bob. Bob.
Baby.
Have a Slurpee and some pizza tonight. That'll make you feel better too.
Maybe play some paintball.
Play some paintball between now and next week. That'll bring you around.
All right.
That'll do it for this week. Thanks to Peter Welpton for putting up with us for another week. And Bob and I will be back next week for another edition of the Musers, the podcast, Cowboys edition. Football friends.
Yay!
Yeah.